Hello! Subscribe to the Books on Toast channel or this year will not be the best year of your life.
It'll just be an average year, just one more year, and all these other years that have come and gone and done really nothing for you except taken away your time. Hello everyone and a very very happy new year to all of you. I know it's been a couple of weeks and you're all now sinking into the year and thinking about all those resolutions you're not going to keep and are like, wow, new year, so many possibilities, until you realize it's December again and you haven't done any of the things you promised yourself that you'd do. Anyway, today we're going to talk about all the books that are being turned into TV shows and movies in 2019 that make us positively wet with excitement.
Oh, talk about yourself. So there's amazing stuff coming out this year. Some stuff that's being show run by authors themselves.
Yeah.
And some stuff that's been EP'd by some amazing big stars. I can't believe our luck in 2019. There's some amazing stuff coming out and I'm damn excited. The first adaptation we would like to talk about is this movie called The Mary Queen of Scots. It is not just Mary Queen of Scots. It is based on this book by John Guy. It's a very long title, Queen of Scots, The True Life of Mary Stuart by John Guy. So it's basically a non-fiction book and a historical account of actual events that led up to her
Death, beheading.
And it's basically the story of Elizabeth and Mary, who were friends, sisters, and how there was this political upheaval in Elizabethan London, and also Mary, Scotland, and all the men in their
Lives.
in their council basically conspired to break them apart because they hated the fact that women were ruling their ass. So it's starring Margot Robbie.
I know, as Queen
Elizabeth.
who looks unrecognizable.
She's amazing. Yeah.
What a transformation.
She looks beautiful. There's that Irish actress called Saoirse Ronan.
Who has been in virtually every Best Picture nomination.
She's a Golden Globe
yeah. Like she's had one movie in Best Picture nomination like for the last 10 years since she started acting or whatever. Yeah.
Running nominee.
Yeah.
And she's playing Mary. And then there's Guy Pearce who's playing William Cecil, who was the closest counsel and confidant of Elizabeth. And it's already actually released in the US. Its UK release is on the 18th of January. So I'm hoping the worldwide release will be also around the same time. And it's going to be fun to watch it because I think we've seen a lot of reprisals of Mary, Queen of Scots and Elizabeth.
I have watched Rain.
So have I. It's amazing. It's
Rain, for those of you.
It's Elizabethan Gossip Girl.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
For those of you who don't know what Rain is, it's a CW show about Mary, Queen of Scots, and it has like abandoned children and magic and poisons and Nostradamus conspiring with the French queens, Catherine de Medici's.
Oh, and there's also the Medici.
He's conspiring with Catherine de Medici to make sure that Mary doesn't marry the French prince and stuff like that. And the story is that he died. He died within a year of their wedding.
Yes.
So actually Mary's life is super interesting. So I'm very excited about this movie.
Yeah.
And the cast is great.
The cast is great. And also we've seen one Elizabeth movie with Shekhar Kapoor.
My head was like, no one.
Yeah, I was going to say
no
Gupta.
one.
Yeah, exactly.
Kapoor, yeah.
Same. So I'm excited to see what Mary's story will be like when it's brought to screen finally. So yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
The second book that we are talking about is something that we are both so excited about. Oh my God, we don't know what. I can't sleep with excitement. That is how excited I am.
Oh my God, I've seen the trailer on loop so many times, I can't even.
Because it is Good Omens.
Oh!
Which is written by Neil Gaiman.
Himself!
And Terry Pratchett. Written for screen by Neil Gaiman.
Himself!
Showrunner Neil Gaiman.
Himself!
What?
And you know, it's amazing because this is the third attempt.
Yeah.
There's been an attempt to make a movie that failed. There was been an attempt to make a TV series that failed. So, Rihanna Pratchett, which is Terry Pratchett's daughter, started a production company and she is the producer and Neil Gaiman is the writer.
And showrunner. This one definitely does make us wet with excitement.
Oh my God, I cannot even And
the cast is Martin Sheen and David Tennant. Guys.
And John Hamm.
Guys. Just go watch this.
Yeah. So there is the so there's the angel Aziraphale, and then there is the demon Crowley, and both of them have become so accustomed to living such a comfortable life on planet Earth and in England specifically that they don't want apocalypse to come. So they're trying to slow that down. And meanwhile, the son of the devil has been born, and he is unaware of his powers. The four
Horsemen
horses
of Apocalypse,
are
yeah.
coming, and then there is a witch.
Genius. It is so funny, so funny, so funny. Like
It's
you
amazing.
cry laughing.
Yeah, it's an amazing, collaboration between two
Brilliant authors.
writers,
Yes.
whom we both love. And the trailer is out. We will put a link in the description. You guys have to see it. So basically, there was a sequel that both of them were working on that never got finished, and which is why they added John Hamm's character to it, who is going to be playing Gabriel. And Gabriel is supposed to be the guy who is going to be commanding the army of the forces of heaven. And that's a little bit different from the actual book, but I think it's going to be amazing.
Yay!
Just Martin Sheen, David Tennant, and John Hamm together in one frame is going to be something to watch.
I'm very excited. Another series, beloved young adult fantasy series that got a critically and audience panned movie earlier in the last decade is His Dark Materials by Philip Pullman, and which is one of my absolute favorite young adult fantasy trilogies, and I cannot tell you how much I love that the series, the characters, the plotting, everything about it. That is getting a show. So the cast is just phenomenal. James McAvoy plays Lord Asriel, which was played by Daniel Craig in the movie. Ruth Wilson from The Affair is Anne Coulter, who was Nicole Kidman in the movie. Then there is Lin-Manuel Miranda, who plays Lee Scoresby, the adventurer, which is wow again. Maybe they'll make it into a musical. Anyway, and Daphne Keane is the girl we all loved on Logan. Like, my God, she was stunning in that movie. She's playing Lyra.
Wow.
So this is going to be an all-round, like, amazing. It's HBO and BBC. I don't see how they could go wrong. They have a stellar record in adaptations. I mean, Game of Thrones, Big Little Lies. Guys, this is going to be superb.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
Yeah.
So there are two big horror adaptations coming out this year. All are king. Why am I not surprised? So the first one is, of course, Pet Sematary, which has been adapted to screen once before already. This is the second adaptation, and it's being done by Paramount again. And so, interesting nugget, guys. It last year, again by Paramount, that came out in April, was the biggest grossing horror movie of all time.
Wow.
And that's saying a lot.
Must have also been the biggest grossing out horror. But Pet Sematary is fucking scary, man.
So it's basically, if you guys haven't read it, it's basically about a couple, a full family who leave Boston to go to Maine, and in their house there is this one cemetery near the woods that is haunted, and basically things come back from the dead if they are buried there.
Guys, the cat
And
comes
so
back to life.
There's
This
a cat.
is scary.
It's amazing.
It
It is amazing. It's going to be like, oh, and it's April 5th, 2019. Also, It Chapter 2 is going to be coming back to screen. So, It Chapter 1 that released last year was only half of the book. The second half is going to be reprised again, and that's, I think, a September release. It Chapter 2, just to remind you guys again, is going to be directed by this guy called Andy Muschietti, who also directed part 1. He's the guy who directed Mama, which is again like
The
a super
scariest
horror like flick. Oh!
It's crazy.
It's going to be amazing. So,
woman.
April and September, horror. King.
Now we're going to talk about two beloved young adult adaptations. The first one is one of our favorite books of last year.
Yes.
It is being made into a movie. I will go watch that movie and it'll like
We'll go
shatter
together.
my life. Yeah, I know that, but
We'll go for one of those midday shows.
yes, and the name of the book is All the Bright Places, and it stars Justice Smith and Elle Fanning. Elle Fanning is playing Violet, and I think she's the bigger name. And then there's Justice Smith, who is black.
Yeah,
which I thought was an
African-American.
interesting choice. Yeah. And it'll add, I think, a
depth.
little something more to a book that already has a lot of depth.
I agree.
So I cannot wait for them to bring Violet and Finch to life. I can't. And I am going to watch this first day, first show, bells and whistles.
Same.
All the popcorn, lots of tissues.
Yeah.
Just bring tissues for this movie. Otherwise, your t-shirt is going to be wet. This will be a very different kind of wet.
So there's also another YA book that we are equally excited about. Not sure if it'll make you wet, but it is called The Sun is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon, which we
It'll
spoke
dry
about
you,
a lot.
cause sun.
So it's a summer release again. It's a May release again. May book adaptations that are brought to screen are mostly romance and YA.
And Warm and Fuzzy, yeah.
Warm and Fuzzy.
Yeah.
Last year was The Kissing Booth. This year it's The Sun is Also a Star.
Yeah,
So I think it's going to be interesting.
This brings us to the Indian adaptations that we're excited about, and there are quite a few to choose from, which is so great, guys.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my god, I know. The first one, of course, is the one we've been talking about since 2017, since the book came out.
Leila, oh Leila.
This actual singing has nothing to do with the book, which is very dark and depressing. But it is the story set in dystopian India about a woman, Shalini, in search of her daughter, Leila. And it stars Huma Qureshi.
Yeah.
And the book is written by Prayaag Akbar. And it's releasing on Netflix next year. And again, I'm just going to take chutti and sit at home.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say, take chutti, sit at home, just binge through it and like wonder about life.
Also, I think it's going to be momentous for Indian audiences in general because we haven't seen Indian dystopia, right? Like for the first time, I think we will see a different statue than the Statue of Liberty being burned to the ground.
Correct. Hopefully, it'll be a statue we'd all like to see burnt to the ground.
Okay, the other one is the BBC series again called A
Suitable Boy! Yeah, showrunner Meera Nair, starring an all-Indian cast.
So this series is also being co-written by James Davis, who also wrote Bridget Jones' Diary, adapted it to screen. So it'll be interesting. We don't have much information at this point who the star cast will be. But
Which is worrying. We should have.
Yeah.
Or maybe they just aren't talking about it. I don't know. But the release date on Google says 2018, so we're just crossing our fingers,
That is
hoping
2019.
that it's now 2019.
Yeah,
And
not
it's
later than
not
this.
one more winds of winter. Just, kabhi to aayega, kabhi to aayega.
This other book that is being adapted to screen is Catch-22.
Wow!
Controversial and fun, I think, because it's like one of those books that everybody tells you must read, must read, must
I've
read.
not read.
So if you've not read, you can watch it on TV
I'ma
because
watch.
it's being adapted by George Clooney. So George Clooney is the executive producer. He's also acting in it. The star cast is Hugh Laurie, Christopher Abbott, and
George Clooney. क्यों Clooney करेगा वो acting?
Yeah, we're still
अगर वो
waiting.
EP भी कर रहा है तो Clooney acting करेगा. You know why he'd make a terrible cop? क्योंकि clue नहीं है उसके पास.
This is also the episode in which Anuya makes record number of puns.
Yes! That's not true. This is my first one. I don't know. I get a bad name for no reason. The last movie that we are very excited about is The Goldfinch, which is a book by Donna Tartt, who is one of our favorite authors, and we've talked about her in our contemporary female authors episode.
Yes.
We love that book. It's about a boy named Theo Decker, who, after an explosion at the Metropolitan Museum of Art, ends up stealing Fabricius's iconic painting, The Goldfinch, and then how that painting and how that one particular incident affects the rest of his life. Movie has Nicole Kidman. She finds herself in a lot of these, doesn't she? Playing Mrs. Barber, the mother of a family that takes him in briefly, and then there is Sarah Paulson who plays his stepmom, and Luke Wilson who plays his dad, and the grown-up Theo Decker is played by Ansel Elgort, whom we all know as that dude who died in The Fault in Our Stars. So I love the book. Of course,
It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, so I'm sure if they do justice to the book, this movie will be great. And it's being directed by the guy who directed the movie Brooklyn, which is based on a book by Colm Tóibín. मैंने कर दिया spell अभी pronounce.
John Crowley is his name, and the movie is expected to hit theaters on October 11th.
So excitement is there, muchly.
So I'm sure, like as the year dawns, there'll be more announcements or more book adaptations coming to either TV or to movie.
And we will talk about all of them because that's what we do on Books on Toast. Subscribe to our channel, of course. If you haven't, what are you doing with your life? Share this video, leave comments in the comments section, and also send us hugs because it's a new year and we are old people.
Hugs.